Hi, hello, and welcome again to another episode of Natural Juan. And this one will be a Christmas episode. And yeah, with everything it entails. Actually, I'm not even supposed to make this video, but due to popular demand, I guess I should at least make a kind of Christmas gift to my viewers out there. Okay, so this one, as you can probably guess, is a completely unscripted video, meaning don't be surprised if I make a lot of mistakes. Yeah, I'll be going back on my words and stuff like that, but yeah, please bear with me. I was requested to tell my own stories, and I've been planning to tell my own stories for a long time now. Writing my own fiction, such as the Misfits of Harrowville that I've been advertising quite a bit. But yeah, that'll be a discussion for another day. This one is more around nonfiction. 3 paranormal stories that have happened to me, particularly. Anyway. So, again, when they say paranormal, they talk about something supernatural or beyond scientific understanding. However, these stories that I will offer up, I would say they're more preternatural than paranormal because all of them have a potential scientific, logical, or rational explanation. But then again, I'll leave it to you what you want to believe. Whether they might actually be real, or maybe Natural Juan is just a little crazy. Maybe I'm a little bit crazy. Okay, so another thing, by the way stories go, these are my own stories, and yes, a little bit of warning for people who are politically or religiously inclined. This will have a bit to do with, I guess, some of my political views, as well as some of my religious views since I'm a practicing Catholic. But anyway, you guys can believe what you want to believe. I'm not gonna stop you, okay? I'm not gonna tell you that this is real. I'm not like that, okay? Anyway, let's start with the first story. But before that, what I have to talk about is, I guess you guys have heard of Jordan Peterson, right? I guess he's a teacher and motivational speaker. He has his fair share of supporters and he has his fair share of detractors, I guess. But I guess I'm one of his supporters. I just know that some of his lectures ring true with me. So, particularly in this first story, I would say that his words, his lectures, this rings true with this particular story. So, okay, I'm gonna try to make this. Well, anyway, be prepared, guys, because in all of these things that I will say, I will not mention specific people's names, as well as establishments, organizations, and places, because I don't want trouble, okay? That's the last thing that I want. I mean, I'm pretty happy the way things are right now. Well, not completely happy, but I guess I'm okay. I like the way things are now. It allows me to advance, and yeah, things are looking good for me, so I don't want to ruin that. But okay, let's go ahead. I guess I'm rambling too long. This is what I hate about unscripted videos. But okay, anyway. So this was back when I was still teaching in a school in 2018. There was this woman who worked as part of the maintenance staff, I guess. And she also worked as a helper for my boss back then. And then one day, I saw that the boss's daughter was kind of reprimanding her. And it was clear that she wasn't happy about that. She wasn't happy that the boss's daughter was another of my superiors. I guess you could say she was my supervisor or something. So anyway, I saw that, and I saw that she wasn't, the supervisor was telling her, please work better next time, do better next time, don't make it hard. I didn't hear the whole thing. But anyway, when I went to sleep that night, I had this dream, and a figure appeared to me in my dream. I can't remember it clearly now, but he looked like, I guess he was an angel of some kind. And he didn't really speak to me, or he didn't speak a lot. He just showed me that woman the supervisor was talking to, and he pointed to her and shook his head, or what I thought was his head. I'm not sure if, yeah, he was kind of he looked more like a being of light and smoke rather than, a person, the angel that was. But he pointed at the woman and shook his head as if trying to imply, don't talk to this woman, or stay away from her. The thing was, around before I slept, I was thinking of speaking to that woman directly and comforting her, because maybe she didn't deserve the reprimands that the supervisor, the boss's daughter, was telling her. So the next day, and this is how you'll realize how dumb Natural Juan really is. So instead of paying heed to what the angel in my dream implied, I spoke to the woman anyway. I tried to be friends with the woman. But the painful part was, and this is really one of my more painful memories, at first it was okay. She was nice to me and stuff like that. But in the end, she framed me for bad things that she did in the school. She would steal from the school's funds, and she would pin the blame on me. I don't know if she was jealous or she thought I was annoying. The annoying part, I can admit to that. I am very annoying in real life. You'd probably get annoyed with the real Natural Juan, with Terry, if you ever got the chance to meet me in real life. And yeah, I kind of realized that I should have sided, or I should have heeded the angel's warning. I'm not saying the angel was real. Maybe it was just some subconscious part of me that, saw the cues in the way she carried herself. That's possible. But yeah, either way, I was wrong. I should have obeyed that message, that implication that the woman was not a good person. And in the end, I ended up suffering for the things she did. It was only because my boss was like, she knew me. In a way, she respected me, and she took a look into things and realized that, I wasn't lying. That it was the woman that was doing something wrong. And going back to Jordan Peterson, I remember him telling something like, you can't be nice all the time. Sometimes you have to be cruel. Sometimes you have to be the beast, or so he says. And this is the part where I get preachy. I'm sorry, guys, but yeah, sometimes you can't be nice to everyone. There are a lot of good people out there. I'd like to believe that. I really do. But then there are people who are not. There are people that if you try to reach for them, they'll stab your hand with a knife. I know that sounds really bad, but it's simply the reality. I won't say that a lot of people are bad, and I think that some people have a reason to be the way they are. I guess The woman came from a rather poor background, one of the less fortunate people, and I I can't blame her if she sees me in a light that is strange for her, because I am very strange. Even my life story is strange. For some people it seems almost miraculous because, like, I don't know, maybe I'll talk about that some other time. And maybe that too is kind of supernatural in a sense, but yeah. But anyway, that's what I learned from that experience. You can be nice to people, you can be civil to people, but be on your guard because not everyone is good. Not everyone can understand your struggles, and not everyone has your best interest in mind. Remember also that everyone, deep down, is out for themselves. It's simply the reality of things. People have to look out for their families and stuff like that. But some people take it to a whole different level. Now let's go to my second story, and this is, I guess, less tragic than the first one. Okay, well, anyway, since this is Christmas, and I prefer telling light-hearted stories during Christmas, this and probably the next one will be a little more light-hearted. So, this was when I was job hunting early in 2021. The place I was looking for, I have never been there before. I think my biggest mistake was, see, they called me. They called me that, "Oh, Terry, you're hired. You can come to our establishment and submit your paperwork there." But I went there without any idea where the place actually was. And for lack of a better term, I was lost. I was lost for hours. It was almost like 3 hours I spent wandering around that place. I mean, it was a big place. I guess I can talk a little bit about the place. It's actually Subic I'm Filipino. I live in the Philippines. So I was in Subic and the workplace was there, but I spent almost 3 hours walking around, really tired. And then I run into this guy. He looks like he was a foreigner, but of course we were all wearing masks. And oh, by the way, here in the Philippines, during that time, we were also allowed to wear face shields or face screens because I guess the government didn't want us to, make things worse. You do know about the stuff that happened in 2020 and 2021. So yeah, we were required not just to wear masks but also face shields. So I run into this guy. He looks like a foreigner. And one thing I noticed that makes him really look foreign was he was wearing a suit. And by the time I ran into him, I guess I was into my third hour of wandering around, and I was just sitting on a park bench, and by that point I was getting ready to give up. I was gonna give up and I was just gonna go home. I thought to myself, is this job really worth it? I asked myself, do I really want to, utterly exhaust myself in looking for this place? And yeah, by that time, I was getting ready. I was gonna pick up my stuff and walk out Subic's gate and go home. But then the foreign man, I guess I'll call him that, he sat at the same park bench to tie his shoelaces. And he saw me. And the first really surprising thing that he did was he spoke to me in Filipino, in Tagalog, our vernacular. Oh, I guess it's our language here in the Philippines anyway, but he spoke to me in almost perfect, accentless Tagalog. And he asked me, what was I planning to do? Where was I going? And where was I going? And what was I planning to do? Just a curious question, not in a way that's intrusive, but sometimes we Filipinos ask ourselves, like, dude, where are you headed? Stuff like that. It was similar to just a person asking that. And I said to him, I'm looking for this company, but I've been looking for it for hours now, and I haven't seen any sign of it. I've been everywhere. So I said, I was planning to go home because I can't find it. And he looked at me, and he was something about his eyes too. His eyes were really weird. They were grayish blue. Well, I guess that's common among foreigners, but there was something different about the way he looked at me. And he says, first thing he says, well, after I answer was, already? You're going home already? You're not gonna take one more roundabout this place. You're not going to walk in a direction you've never walked before. You're not gonna ask other people around here where that place could be. There's a lot of things you could do, he said. And I said, no, I'm really tired, man. I don't know if I can keep doing this, I asked him. There's so many things that have happened. And he said to me, he says, don't you think marathon runners get tired by the end of the race? And that kind of lit up something in me when he said that. It's always on the precipice of things. When you're about to give up, something good happens. And he told me that, you shouldn't just give up. You shouldn't just say, oh man, I'm tired and I should just go home. He says if certain people in the world just did that, if they just gave up and went home, we would be missing out on a lot of things. Even a lot of the modern technology we have now is because of hardworking people choosing to, keep working at it. And I thought to myself, well, he's right. So I went around and, looked for the place. And first, one of the things he pointed out to me was, what is this place connected to? Or is there a landmark? Now, that's when I suddenly remembered that yes, it was near a cultural center. I showed him the map on my smartphone, and all he told me was he wasn't from here, so he doesn't really know where that is. But he says he's sure that a big landmark like a cultural center will be familiar to some people who do live in that place. And I decided to take, one more roundabout, one more walk, and look for the place. The foreign guy, he smiled. At least his eyes seemed to smile. And he stood up too and left. So I went around and I ran into a security guard, and I asked him, where's this cultural center? And he says, it's been in a place that I passed several times already. And man, I was shocked. I was like, you mean I passed that place already? And more than once? It was hilarious. But anyway, that's when I decided to, just get my stuff together and go there. And surprise, surprise, I found a job. And needless to say, while the work is hard, it's worth it. It's worth my family and the friends I've made on the way. They're worth it too. And about the foreign man, I saw him one more time, but it was a church. I'm not sure if that was actually him, but while I sat at a church inside Subic, I thought I saw him outside with his suit and his suitcase, and it dawned on me that when I went out looking for that job, the man I'm talking about, during that time, it was summer, and a suit would have been very inconvenient. And other questions popped up in my head, like, who was he? I thought maybe he was just a business executive from another country. That's entirely possible. But it just seems so unlikely for him to be out there. Most of these business people who come to the Philippines will probably be riding in their own car or get a rental car. And in the heat of summer in the Philippines, I doubt he'd be wearing that suit. He'd probably be wearing something lighter. So I'm not sure what he was. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess this is one of Natural Juan's crazy stuff. Maybe he was just a hallucination. Maybe part of my subconscious telling me to keep going. But I don't know. That's another thing that I don't understand. Like again, like the rest of my stories, this one does have an explanation to it. It's possible he really was, a businessman from another country who came to the Philippines, who can somehow speak perfect Filipino, but it was very strange. But anyway, if the man was something else, well, I thank God that I ran into him. Because if he didn't tell me the things I needed to hear at that point in time, like I said, I would have gone home. Things would be very different now. Now for my third story, and this is the funniest one. And yeah, you guys are welcome not to believe this. By the way, wait. About the second one, when I saw the guy outside the church, I'm not sure if he was looking at me because he was behind some trees, but it was like he appeared there, exactly there, to tell me that, I know you made it. Good job. Yeah, I know. Another hard to believe thing. But anyway, let's move on to the third story. And about this one, this is the weirdest and probably the funniest one, and you're welcome to disbelieve. Yeah, maybe this is Natural Juan just making stuff up. You're welcome to believe that too. But anyway, I was going home on a bus when suddenly another vehicle, what we call jeepneys, they're smaller than buses, but they kind of serve the same purpose as minibuses here, I guess. It tried to overtake the bus I was on. It was like the driver of the jeepney was trolling the bus driver. And it made the bus driver so angry that he started speeding. As in just pedal to the metal, like they say. And he started really driving aggressively, and a lot of people got scared on the bus. I was really scared, and that was another part of my life when I thought that, it would be the end. I thought, so is this it? Is this how I'll die in a bus crash? Because the bus driver just got too crazy. I mean, I guess the conductor, that's the guy who collects tickets in buses in the Philippines. He was trying to talk some sense into the bus driver, but the bus driver, he wouldn't listen. He just sped up like he had what they called road rage. But then a woman's voice, a very clear and sultry woman's voice, spoke up and said, "Stop the bus." And the bus driver, he was forced to stop. And from somewhere in the back of the aisle, a very attractive woman walked down the aisle. She was rather tall, very pale, had a bob hairstyle, wore very short shorts, and was very attractive. You know, anyway, just as a, you know, oh, never mind. But anyway, she walked down the aisle and she confronted the bus driver. She told him, to paraphrase, well, it was in Filipino, of course, but to paraphrase what she said, "You better think about your passengers, mister. You're gonna get them killed with what you're doing." She said that in a very harsh, admonishing tone and stepped off the bus. Everyone was staring after her until she got off, including the bus driver, but when she got off, everyone stared at the driver. And the driver was quiet. And anyway, my home is a little far away, so it took a while before we arrived. And during that time, I spoke to an old lady that sat near me in the bus, and I asked her, well, that woman was she was pretty hot. And the old woman says, kid, I didn't see her board the bus. I sat here since the bus parked in the bus terminal or the bus station, but I never saw that woman board this bus. And I remember too, I was pretty early when I arrived at that bus stop, so I would have probably noticed that woman. Truth is, though, I was kind of sleepy, I work at night, so it's not impossible that I slept through that attractive woman boarding the bus, but I don't remember seeing her boarding the bus. And again, I think I saw something that might not entirely be natural. Now again, there's an explanation for that. Maybe the old lady beside me, maybe she just fell asleep while said attractive woman boarded the bus. It's also possible she made that all up. But again, I don't think that old lady had any reason to lie to me about that. So I'd like to think maybe the attractive woman we saw might be something else as well. But anyway, believe what you want to. So again, what I'm going to say is, I think that woman, just like that foreigner from before, maybe they were angels. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. And anyway, what I was going to say during the third story was that I remember in the Bible, before the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, I don't know, it brings a sour note to some people, but I remember, when, what was his name? Lot? Like, when Lot brought in the angels, they said that it's like the whole city, everyone in the city of Sodom and Gomorrah, because they were kind of perverted, they wanted to, do nasty things with Lot's visitors. And if that woman that I saw on the bus was one of them, then I kind of see why the people in Sodom and Gomorrah wanted to, do nasty things with them. But anyway, I think they were more than what they seemed to be. At least I'd like to think that way. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed these stories. There'll be more in the future. But these are my personal experiences, and sorry if they're not paranormal enough for you or if they're too preachy. But anyway, I hope you like these stories, whether or not I did have a brush with the supernatural. Natural Juan, out.